All right, and joined now by the former big leaguer Dave Collins and the Inquirer's Richard Skinner, who on Selection Sunday does have the UK shirt on.
Just for that,
it's
right?
It's not March,
but I'm 4 months late.
We're close.
Okay, close enough. But it is a Selection Sunday of some kind.
It is a July Selection Sunday for the All-Star team. The Reds have 4 All-Stars. But we'll start with the poll question, guys. Billy Hamilton, possibly worthy. Alfredo Simon, an 11-game winner, certainly more than deserving of being an All-Star. Which of those guys would you have included or like to see included down the road, or you're good with it? Dave?
Alfredo Simon.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's been a godsend to this ball club, stepping in like he has with the injuries early in the season to Latos. This guy has pitched almost like a #1 for him. To have 11 wins at the break and could easily have 12 or 13. Kid has been outstanding, and who knows, with Cueto pitching Sunday, maybe Simon still gets in.
He could get those innings.
It's funny, if you're picking this game to win it, which it does supposedly mean something, correct? You are taking Aroldis Chapman over any pitcher the Reds have, and that would include Johnny Cueto, just because he's going to help you at the end of a ball game. I mean, this is basically a 2-inning for a starter and then inning. Alfredo Simon has done tremendously well, and he deserves that kudos. And yet, Billy Hamilton can be a guy that you go, hey, late game, 2-2 tie, who do you want to have pinch run? Billy Hamilton will be the guy. At the end of the day, I'm okay. I mean, they got 4 guys on it for a team that's barely above 500. That's pretty good enough.
When we were leaving the ballpark today, I told my photographer if they could get 4 on next year when the game is here, they'll be in really good shape. Let's talk about the 4 guys who are on. Dave, I know how high you are on Todd Frazier in the season he is having this season. So this is certainly, I know you're going to go with this, very deserving for Todd to be the team's home run leader, RBIs leader, and outside of Devin Mesoraco, he's leading in batting average as well.
No question about it. I love his heart. I love his leadership. I think he's been a tremendous addition to this club the last 3 years, and when he hits, the Reds win. So I'm really, really happy to see him there.
Skinny, despite 2 stints on the disabled list, including to start the season, Devin Mesoraco is now an All-Star.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers support that. It's funny. If you looked at his numbers and said he played 80 games or 77 games or whatever it is, you go, that's a great season. He's played barely 60 games, I think is what it is. And those numbers are even better. He's been so good defensively. You watch him today at a stage. Matt Latos threw a pitch that either he didn't like or didn't like location or something. He walks out there, says something to him. The next pitch is a strikeout. I mean, he has done such a good job in that regard that people don't see. I mean, you see the numbers. He's been great to me.
And he was picked by the Cardinals manager, former catcher Mike Matheny, so it shows you what Mike thinks of Devin in that regard. And Johnny Cueto, look, you have to be happy that the baseball people did not just look at the win-loss total for Johnny Cueto. They looked at the whole picture.
I'll tell you what, you pull anybody in the National League trying to hit him. If you pull Dave today and go, Dave, take a bat up and try to hit Johnny Cueto, he'd say no thanks. Nobody wants to hit against him. All the numbers aside, other than ERA and WHIP, those
are the big ones.
Those are the big ones. Those are the numbers that you go, hey, I know how hard he is to hit. Dave would know that. The guy's almost unhittable when he's right.
Yeah, no question about it. Okay, interesting scenario today in the Reds clubhouse before the game. Joey Votto's locker stall empty, led people to believe that he was either A, placed on the disabled list, or B, traded. A little jumping to conclusions there, obviously, but now it appears as if he will go on the disabled list. This has to be the best spot for him, Skinny, given the fact that he is clearly struggling.
Yeah, initially. In fact, the initial thing today was that it was just a day off. Brian chose to give him a day off.
Which I think was legitimate at the start anyway.
Maybe, but at the end of the day, the best thing to do is disable him and maybe, honestly, shut it down. You shut it down until you go get another look at that. If it requires another surgery, you go have surgery on it. I mean, he's got to get right. You watched him the Saturday game.
The last swing he took
was horrible. I mean, and I felt bad for him. As much as I'm a critic of him taking too many pitches in certain circumstances, all you have to do is watch that swing and go, boy, he's hurt. And he's trying hard, but he's hurt.
Dave Collins, what's the worst injury you tried to fight through and you couldn't do it anymore?
For me, it was just pulling muscles.
And that's what he's got.
I relied on my speed. So for me, I had to be at 100% because the club relied on me to steal bases, to make things happen with my legs. So there's some guys that don't have to rely on their speed, and they can get by at playing at 75, 80% with their legs. But for me, it was definitely pulled hamstrings.
But you can relate to what Joey's going through with the strained quad.
Yeah, I mean, he hits a lot with his legs. He uses his legs. But the one thing about Votto, since he has been injured, he has not been the same player since. I mean, there's no comparison.
Not even close.
Since he's come back.
Yeah.
So, You know, I don't know what it is there with him, but for whatever reason, since he was initially hurt, he has not been the same player.
You know, we had an interesting play in Sunday's game with the fan interference out in right field on the Ramon Santiago. What could have been an inside-the-park home run, it ended up being ruled an out. You know, you talk about that play. Does it have to be an out? Does it? I mean, is it just all subjective based on what the umps see?
It is subjective. And the thing that surprised me the most is the fan actually stayed in the game. I'm surprised they didn't kick the guy out. That stunned me more than anything else. I mean, it was clear that he went over the wall. I mean, he's below the yellow line.
Oh, yeah, he's way in the field of play.
You have to use that as a subjective opinion of could the guy have caught it. You could tell it was definitely a Reds fan. To me, though, that's always a hard thing because it could be somebody that likes to wear red that's a Brewers fan, and he's sitting out there and he's thinking, well, I'll help you out here. Now, granted, that's not the case. I know I'm taking this way, way beyond. But that's the part to me. There maybe needs to be some way to make this so cut and dry that if you reach over no matter what, it's an out. Now, granted, you can yell that if a Reds fan does that to a Brewers player, that maybe you know, they help the Reds out. But again, if you're reaching over, maybe it's an automatic out, and that fan is automatically ejected. Honestly, jail for 7 to 10 days, or
7 to 10 days,
whatever. Just jail the idiot for being a stupid idiot. I mean, he looks stupid.
Long arm of the law. Very quickly, Dave Collins. You have a Reds team that went to San Francisco, won 4 straight, lost 3 straight in San Diego, comes home for another first place team, wins 2 out of 3. Now the Cubs come in here, last place team. Well, not necessarily, thank goodness, because it's up, down, up, down. How do you guard against the proverbial letdown?
You know what? That's been an Achilles heel with this club. Last year, the Dodgers came in after having the best month in the history of baseball, swept them here. Yep. Then Chicago came in and beat on them. And Cincinnati has had a history in the last 3 years of letting down when they get momentum and looks like they're going to make a move. They fall right back on their face.
Yeah, San Diego classic case in point of that. We'll see if they can avoid it against the Cubs coming up this week. They have 5 games with the Cubbies.